Last week we did some social races throughout all tiers, but how about this time we involve all those tiers together? Welcome along for a social race during the midweek on F124 with our drivers taking part for a short qualifying and 29 lap race around Abu Dhabi, the Yas Marina circuit, which has provided some interesting races throughout RPL. Season 9 F1, one notable one that had Jack Miles take victory over TS Korsman. You had the closest ever finish here almost 3 years ago to the day between VCRL Vettel and Jack Miles in F2 cars back in, I believe, Season 8. We've had as well Jack Miles take his first ever win back in Season 8 F1 at the circuit. Season 10, it was not ran in F1. Tier 2 JNT Gaming took his second win at the circuit, his most recent one. F2 cars also saw BRT Griffiths win the last ever time we ran at Abu Dhabi back in Season 17 in a shortened event. We also had as well during Formula Endurance a 4-5 car battle for the victory. Jack Miles ended up coming on top, and it seems like usually does come on top when it comes to Abu Dhabi going around the circuit. He goes around quite well, to say the least. But yeah, welcome along, everybody. For those of you who are watching, I'm your commentator, Ryan Searles, and it should be a fun one for tonight's social event around the circuit. We'll introduce the drivers in just a little bit. We've got 15 of them, but we've got a lot of announcements and a lot of things to go over as well. We have a new update coming to F124 with the handling patch and a lot of other things as well to come in that update. Probably June 11th is what we're hearing, so that shall be interesting to see. Alex Gillian said that there should be another thing coming with that update as well. And I would not be surprised at all if it was the rumor that we've been hearing a lot about in terms of that audio file around Germany. Will we get Germany on this game? That shall be interesting to see if that happens or not. So let's go over some of the drivers in here. Talk about their history in RPL for just a little bit. Kind of like Minico did last week in the Tier 3 race. We'll talk about the preseason races from last week in a little bit too as well. We got TSR Cryptic, a previous Tier 2 champion. This Red Bull F1 lineup that he's a part of in the V-Carb is full of champions. You got 3 Tier 1 champions and a Tier 2 champion in there of Cryptic. So that's quite nice to see. Eggles, a former F2 champion. Redfire Tiger, only one victory to his name in RPL. That comes back in the equal tier when we revive that. But for Redfire, he's trying to get another victory and as well get back on the podium. He was on there last season. Tadpole, a Tier 2 champion. Cookie, a Tier 1 champion. Mintoki, last week kept up her 100% finishing record in RPL in all tiers combined. JTK, the runner-up from Tier 2. Hunted's been running faster on this track so far in time trial. He's only had one pole with that McLaren team, but for Tier 2, he's got a championship already with them. SV ran quite a bit at the end of F123. Now looking for a bit of redemption in Tier 3 on F124. Matthew Wrightson now has a Tier 2 in FE and a Tier 3 race to his name. Now he'll add one tonight in a social race here. HSR Gecko, a vice champion, I believe, of Tier 2. Top 5 contender in the championship previous seasons ago in F1 as well. Blue Goggy, 4 podiums to his name. Kipu, no podiums in Tier 2. This is where the heartbreak came last time, but he's got podiums in F2 at least to his name. El Mythic, 1 F2 win, and the team that he got victory for, it was their only F2 win, VAR. Valkyrie as well, by the way, 4 times a victor on the top step of the podium. 1 last week in Tier 3 on the preseason event there, and 3 in F2. We're going to go on board with one of the drivers on the lap, and how about we pick up HSR Gecko, who's running right behind Matthew Wrightson, and this could be some trouble for Gecko, who is trying to complete a lap here, and might have the new Mercedes driver in Tier 3 in his way. Hopefully that doesn't end up being the case, but HSR Gecko, I would say, gets along quite well at the circuit from previous events here, or just previous times around the nighttime on a lap, so he's backed off of that one. Got Blue Goggy on a lap. Blue Goggy didn't really have the best of weeks last week. He ended up competing in all 4 preseason races. But let's get Cookie an invite since I'm the only spectator in here. Either way, Matthew writes, and we'll complete the first lap, but Blue Goggy coming around here into the last couple of corners. Definitely not the week he would have wanted last week. It seemed like everything improved, though, in the Tier 3 race, not having the worst of races, but second place for him. Not too bad on the timing charts compared to where he was, seeming like he's got more practice in this game. Blue Goggy, definitely one of the drivers we can say for sure, having a tough time to adapt to this game so far. Redfire Tiger is one who hasn't. He's shown off a lot of TT times. He's been quite quick, and he is still quick at the top of the table. Aston Martin Tier 2 driver full-time he'll be. Valkyrie on a lap, and she had a invalidated lap time just a moment ago, so we'll watch her in the McLaren and go on board with her until the end of Sector 1, and leave it to you guys to make your judgment on how this lap is. Ooh, not so good for the Brazilian there, trying to get on the traction. It didn't look so great at all. But if we can, we'll see who else is on a lap. We got Hunted maybe going for a lap this time. Went for a, seemed like a backed off lap. Then now it's going to be a push lap for the Welshman, Tier 2 champion. Like I said, one pole with this team. Came back in Texas when he started out with them back in Tier 2, but hasn't really found the outbreak moment he has maybe been looking for yet. But Hunted now coming through the sector, like I mentioned before, fast so far on time trial when practicing for this. But purple in the second sector. We got cars parked on the left side there, trying to let the other drivers go. Doing the smart thing right there, but Hunted now going to come into the last sector and the last couple of corners. You can just see him sliding that McLaren here into the left-hander now. And this is where Latifi crashes. We all know it. It's a tricky corner sometimes for the drivers, but Hunted does it just fine. Now the final corner, you can lose it on traction right here, so you got to get careful coming across the line. And Hunted, no surprise, into the top 3. Third fastest, just behind Tadpole, who set second fastest, and Redfire Tiger, who is fastest right now. We got Cookie and TSR Cryptic who are going to come by. Cookie seems like he's doing a non-Tier 1 event for the first time, from the looks of things. Something other than just Tier 1. It's good to see him here. It's his first laps on the game. We'll find out how this is for the man who took the Season 10 championship with a lot of records. We posted last night in the RPL Fun Facts channel something. Oh, he's lagged out and it's retired his car. Oh, no. I was just going to say, we'll find out. Oh, no. Yeah, no force feedback. I was just going to say, we'll find out for the man what he can do this season with those fun facts and with those records that he has kind of held himself up in the list for. But yeah, not going to end up happening here where we see that start. Oh boy. Wow. All right, JTK needs an invite. We'll get him. JTK had quite the preseason event last week, to say the least. It was him and his brother both on the podium, 1-3 in the Tier 2 preseason race at Spa, which was the only race that had interchangeable conditions. And Cookie, it seems like deja vu to Imola during Season 10 F1 with his car being retired right there. But TSR Cryptic is now deploying the overtake down this back straight. Let's ride on board with the Polishman. Ooh. Little rear lock right there from TSR Cryptic. And 52.9 at the second sector from Cryptic. We're going to ride on board and see what this last sector is like from the Visa Kesha Racing Bull. Whoa. And once he crosses, yeah, he's invalidated. We'll go back to him in just a moment. We'll stay on Gecko while we try to invite Cookie back to the session. Let's see. Yep, he's online now. There we go. We'll invite him. HSR Gecko. Let's see what he's got in store here. Two seconds up in the first sector. No surprise right there, considering his first lap was a lap that it seemed like he backed off on and didn't have the best of ways right there. But it should be interesting to see what Gecko can do in the Ferrari. I mean, look at the preseason race last week in Silverstone, what he was able to do. He was able to contend with a teammate of his who's not usually his teammate, to say the least, Joe Speed. Just Speed reserving in that Ferrari last week. And as for Gecko, it seems like he's got quite a bit of pace on this game, but we won't know what things will be like for these drivers once the season starts, because they'll have 2 weeks to practice with the new patch being put in place. The new patch is going to be probably around June 11th, we're hearing. So the season should be starting about 2 weeks after then, like it usually ends up being. If that's going to be the case, I'm going to assume we're going to have F2 probably a week earlier, because F2 will have an extra round compared to Tier 1 and the other tiers as well. But HSR Gecko, the full-time Ferrari Tier 1 driver, looking quite spicy so far this season. Looking quite spicy again there at the top of the table. Look at that lap from Gecko. Hunted now starts a lap. We'll go on board with him. He's been top 100 in the realistic McLaren in time trial. But how does the time trial pace translate to the qualifying pace for Hunted? We've noticed a lot in this game that the time trial pace is a hell of a lot different compared to your qualifying pace, your online pace. And now he deploys his overtake into this corner. 52 thousandths up. I'm going to expect him to beat Tadpole and Red Fire. But does he put the challenge there to HSR Gecko? And Hunted, you don't want to lock the rears into this corner. It can be very easy to do that. You can just see the turn and how much he just swings that car left, swings that car right for the chicane as we ride on board with him. Battery already below 25% from the driver, but 2/10 up this time. That time will have to be found in the last sector, and you can just see the difference compared to time trial. He just tries to send it in, turn way too deep to the left side, and it just did not work for Hunted right there, as he probably lost about a few good hundredths right there. But a lot of this time that he may be missing is probably going to have to be found in the last sector. Here comes Hunted now around the hotel section. Now into the final two corners for Hunted. 17% on that battery. What is he going to find? What is he missing? Hunted across the line is second fastest, to no surprise right there from the Welshman. You got teammate Valkyrie, who's yet to do a lap, and she's going to be picking up a slipstream from the Williams in front of Kippu right there. Kippu's going along quite well in this car prior. He's had a 4th place finish to his name once, I believe, back in Imola Season 9. One of the only 4th place finishes for Kippu in Tier 2 without that podium. That elusive podium he's been missing, but we'll find out. The full-time driver. We're a different team than the Mercedes Academy this season that he'll be racing for. We'll see if he can pull it off this season for that first podium. 53-0 is what Valkyrie is going on right now in the McLaren. Just right on the edge right there, you can see as she dipped the wheel, maybe 3 of them, onto that curb right there, out of the parabolica type of corner. But Valk is coming through the last couple of corners. Let's find out. Ooh, she's invalidated. That's not good from the Brazilian. She might be in trouble, and she's going to go to the pit lane and go for it again. She slowed at the pit lane, too. Got TSR Cryptic, who's about to run out of battery on a lap as well in the V-Carb, yet to set a time. He's one of 3 drivers still eligible to set a time, now 4 on a lap. And you got a 52.7 in the second sector from TSR Cryptic. This car looks so nice. You can't see it so bright, though, at night, I guess you could say, in terms of the lettering. But yeah, TSR Cryptic right up against the wall and going to come across the line now to set his first lap time of the session. Let's find out what Cryptic can do. Overtake deployed across the line, 5th place for the V-Carb, just ahead of Blue Goggy by 0.3. And Cryptic was going on quite well, I would say, in other open lobby races to start this game. So the fact that Blue Goggy is 0.3 off of the Polish driver, and he's been struggling with this game so far, that's a better sight to see from Blue Goggy, and even from TSR Cryptic, just putting the car 1.5 behind Gecko. I'm interested to see once the season does start at the end of June, with Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. How far are you apart from the top guys here with the car performance spread? It will obviously change. V-Carb will probably get a big update to no surprise. They need one. Mintoki just said it fifth fastest. But yeah, I will be interested to see. Keep in mind, if you're wanting to change tiers, join the league, whatever the case may be. Well, if you wanted to join the league first, you should join the Discord link, which is in our Twitch bio. You can see a link to the Twitter, the YouTube, the Discord, Twitter also known as X. But you also, once you join the league, you also have different tier coordinators who you can either say I'm happy with the tier I'm in, or express that I would like to change the tier. I don't feel fast in this tier, or you're making the wrong decision. Tier 1, you got Luke Range. Tier 2, you got Hunted LAX. Tier 3, you have Eggles, who is, well, really combining his league with RPL in a way through Tier 3. Guys like Rapid Owen joining in. Samuel Drake Lee. F7X Danny. You'll see some of those drivers either in Tier 1 or Tier 3 this season. But we'll have a full video explaining that tomorrow afternoon as Egg invalidates on his lap. But yeah, like I said, we'll have a full video explaining that with Tier 3, kind of going through what that'll all be about. And yeah, that'll be nice, I think, to talk about tomorrow on the YouTube. Egg is aborting to the, Mythic is aborting to the pit lane. Excuse me, right there. He decided that that lap is no more from him. And I think our next one we'll have is Pac-Man. The interesting thing I've noticed, especially even during the Tier 3 race, is that, well, oh, he almost clunked the wall right there. The interesting thing from the Tier 3 race that I noticed is that the Haas has the same exact color as the Ferrari. And it started to really annoy me when you're a driver because, well, he went over all 4 tires and he still didn't validate. There's really no difference to tell right there between both on the track map, both icons there. The Haas and the Ferrari, you really cannot tell the difference. But hopefully they do change that for the update coming out on June 11th, supposedly. But 17.6 from Pac-Man in Sector 1. He's one of the newer drivers. I got the chance to race with him in Tier 3 and even on Sunday prior in open lobbies with Egg and other drivers who participated in those open lobbies. Pac-Man, an American driver. He's got a child on the way. Congrats to him as well on that. She'll be interesting to see how many races he'll miss, how many races he'll make during the Tier 3 season. But, yep, he's full-time reserve for the Ferrari Academy. We'll find out what he's able to do. But right now, 53-0 in the second sector from Pac-Man. Get your predictions in chat, though, folks, for qualifying. Who will take pole? What will the time be? Right now, the time is a 21.5. But, yeah, another tier coordinator I forgot to mention as well was George Alp Williams, also known as Alan Prostate. He is helping F2 return, to say the least, and it's very nice to see what F2 has been able to do. Probably one of the tiers with best attendance in terms of this preseason weekend we had just last week. But Pac-Man invalidates at the final corner, and he's invalidated the next lap too. So that's going to be it from him in qualifying. How about Hunted we go on board with now? We go to the pole sitters, trying to either go up the order or defend where they're at. Hunted 71,000 up on his McLaren. Let's go through a hot lap here. Down the straight, you're going to deploy, overtake, or at least be in hot lap toward the end of it. Now, 43% from Hunted here on the ERS. Across the line came a McLaren. That was Valk 6th. The Ferrari of... no, that was the Haas of Egg went 9th fastest. That's going to be a confusing one to see something to get used to. JTK is on the lap now. Hunted coming through the end of the sector in just moments time. Where is Hunted going to be in comparison? He's actually backed off, and I don't think he's going to have enough time here to get another lap in. Gecko is down by 42 thousandths, though, while Red Fire is also down on the time. Mintalki, the Korean driver, can she find any time? Yes, 23 thousandths. Well, we've got an AlphaTauri, sorry, a V-Carb coming across the line. That is Blugagi. He'll get a lap in. The other driver behind of, I believe that was a Ferrari. That is Tadpole. He'll get a lap in too, but here comes the checkered flag. Hunted, I don't think he'll have enough time to get to it. He's invalidated his lap for good measure, and he won't get to it to be able to set another lap. Hunted remains second fastest, so McLaren cannot put the challenge to Ferrari this evening so far. Red Fire Tiger is going quite well, but he's going to have to find some time in the third sector, wheeling it around the last corner, tried everything in it, 25 thousandths down, couldn't do it. We have in the background another driver coming across the line that is a Haas, excuse me. Or no, sorry, a V-carb of TSR Cryptic, 6th fastest. We got Valkyrie as well coming across, but next will be HSR Gecko. 93 thousandths down. Valkyrie couldn't improve, but HSR Gecko couldn't either. We have JTK, 1 and done, and it's going to be 5th fastest. Next up is the Mercedes, that is Mentoki. Mentoki improves up to 4th fastest, so the Korean driver going quite fast and looking to continue that consecutive finishing streak that she's had over 20 races now. Tadpole as well, up on the time. This could really be a good lap from Tadpole. Really good performance from Tadpole in terms of the F2 and Tier 1 preseason events earlier this week. Kipu sets at 9th fastest, but next we've got a V-carb, that is Blue Goggy, 9th fastest, Tadpole 3rd fastest. So improvements happening at the last moments in qualifying, all paying big dividends to these drivers, and Matthew Wrightson has crashed coming across the line. He'll be the last driver to come across, and that will be it for this qualifying session. So it's going to be HSR Gecko setting the sights here once again. He did it in Tier 1 preseason at Silverstone, and now he'll do it once again here in this social race, looking very fast. No surprise there, HSR Gecko on top. Hunted as well was 2nd fastest. Tadpole right there, making it another one where the Ferraris are 1-3, or at least both in the top 3. Red Fire 4th for Aston Martin, a really impressive one from Red Fire. Is he going to get himself back in Tier 1 with this? Mentoki 5th, JTK 6th, Cryptic, then Valkyrie. Blue Goggy putting both V-carbs up in the top 10. Kipu 10th. And outside this top 10, you got Matthew Wrights in the Mercedes, Cookie in the Red Bull. Some drivers to look at outside that top 10. So I did say I'd be having JNT Gaming join me if you checked our social media. I don't see JNT online, but I'll chuck him an invite. Why not? See if we can get him in here. What does he mean throughout crossplay was fixed? All right. Welcome, JNT. Welcome for the event. Good to have you.
They sent
Sure you include your
what
audio.
they did day after Sunday. I had to leave because Egg dragged me to Antarctica. I've painstakingly hiked back through the Antarctica, through the Arctic Oceans, all the way back to America, and I've finally returned. So I will be commentating this race. And Egg, I am coming for you.
Well, I'm glad you're back, JNT. We got a lot to talk about, so that's a good thing. Well, either way, before we get this formation lap underway, let me just check we have it. Do you need an invite to the session?
I just got
We
invited.
do have formation lap.
So
Alright, perfect.
I think we chill.
Perfect. Alright, so you probably heard earlier today, maybe you didn't. I'm sure you were in school and, you know, focusing on finals, but
I
either
failed
way.
to chill in this session. Womp.
Oh boy. Let me chuck you another invite as we get the formation lap underway in just a moment. I think you heard earlier that the performance patch is coming.
I have heard.
So that's obviously great. The handling as well.
Yeah, I got to
Not
play
only
the
the
game
handling, but Alex Gillian said that there's maybe something else coming in it. What do you think that news is? I think the potential of Germany coming back, like people thought with the audio files, is a possibility, and if he's hyping it up so
Something
much.
else. What else could be in the
Yeah,
game? You know what I think could be in the game? They're gonna fix the rest of the game.
Really?
There's a lot
So?
of broken things in this game.
Well, you got that right. Let me see who's not in the session who made an invite back. Matthew Wrightson is one of them. We'll chuck him an invite back.
Hey, I made it.
But yeah, either way, formation lap underway, JNT.
Oh,
You've just
wow.
joined the session. We'll go through tires before any other input there. Most of the field on mediums. You got probably about a select 6 or 7, 8 guys on hards here for this one. I'm not sure what the pit stop loss and the ERS gain back looks like. I'm sure it's a little bit similar to last game except for the ERS gain back, and we've got some drivers disqualifying themselves on the formation lap already. But JNT Gaming, we've seen some preseason events already. We had Tier 2, which had a mixed condition start at Spa. We had F2, which had quite the race in Qatar there with some punctures at the end. Tier 1 saw quite the calmer race at Silverstone with preseason. A lap car getting in the way. And Tier 3 saw a decent bit of retirements with its first outing. We've got a preseason event involving all tiers partaking. What do we expect to see in this one?
I don't know. We've never done a all-inclusive event before. This is, I'd say, uncharted territory for us. This is pretty exciting. You get to see Gecko go against El Mythic. This is funny as hell.
Well, even Gecko versus Hunted. One Tier 1 driver, one Tier 2 driver. You got Red Fire Tiger, Mintaki. You got a lot of drivers who we're going to have in here. Cookie, you see him starting at the back of the field. He was retired in qualifying after he lagged out, so it shall be interesting to see how he ends up charging from the back of the field. Chat, give your final predictions. JNT Gaming, though, down to turn 1 and all the way down to turn 5 shall be interesting on the start, because we've really not done a proper race start on this game at Abu Dhabi. So it shall be interesting to see how drivers do handle this, especially because you do really want to try to at least stay 2 wide, not go 3 wide on the start.
You see, Tadpole has his car angled, probably trying to get an advantage, because that's smart, probably.
Yeah. Just waiting for the 5 red lights to come. Of course, it's a little crappy, the camera angle with starts on this game, as we've noticed with the formation lap on. Green flag is waving, but there is no lights coming on just yet.
Alright, so
we're
there's
just
this
waiting
really
on that to
cool
happen.
thing that the game does, right? I've seen it because I've watched it happen to Lando Norris, future Tier 2 Haas driver. Look out for that one. The game kind of just sits on the grid for like a minute sometimes, and it's really interesting.
Hopefully they don't. Yeah, hopefully they don't sit here and jump to conclusion with maybe a restart. I hope we at least can try and get something in first. But we see the green flag waving in the background. And, yeah.
Yeah, this is all normal.
Hopefully.
Nothing is wrong.
Here we go. Do we get going now?
No,
Nope, we're
now
looking
on
at
black
the Paddock
screen.
Club.
Now we're on the black screen. It's about to load.
Well, I can't go to the pause menu. I can't go to the pause menu. Egg wants an invite back while I try to go to the pause menu to invite him. Pac-Man's left. Are we going to get a restart? That's going to be the question now.
I think the game is broken.
Let's invite Egg back.
Whoa.
To the game.
Oh, it's dead. It's died. We're done. We're cooked.
We are restarting the lobby, but I'm going to wait till we get an invite because I cannot pause. I'm stuck here, and I don't want the stream to go all blue.
Well,
No formation lap this time. Got it.
let's look at
Well,
the paddock.
we know there is a issue at formation lap, but I'm going to assume that's because Matthew Wrightson couldn't take control of his car. So, yeah. I mean, we can hear the engines on the grid if you can hear that in the background, JNT.
They're there in spirit. It's got to count for something. Oh, God. Oh, we're not making it out of this one, boys. The ship is sinking. Oh, God.
Well, we have a lot of things we could talk about, JNT. What do you want to start with? I mean, if Germany does come back, it will be the first time we run it in F1 possibly since Season 2. I'm sure a lot of the tiers would love to run that circuit. We'll get a restart, but here are the, pre-5 red lights before we get to the actual lobby. Lights are out for half cars and half ghost cars, and away we just don't go because we're going to watch some people crash. This is quite fun. I like crashing. Well, somehow Valkyrie's car is still in this race. You know, this is interesting because we joke about all the time people like Wavy Knife, Sam Steed, Blue Goggy, and all them trying to test the crash model, but you saw Valkyrie go on head-on at the turn 1 wall and not retire. Now she's retired, and you can see it's a big delay in terms of these cars retiring, but, yeah. Hippo, that's a nice track over there. Big air. Alright, now I'm able to quit to the main menu and get an invite back to the next session. So yeah, just sit tight for us, folks, and we'll end up
What the heck just
getting
happened?
into the restarted session as we are restarting.
Where's the... The game's scaring me. I'm leaving.
Oh boy. What's happening?
I don't know. After everyone left the lobby, it just did some really freaking weird things.
Oh boy. Well, I'll get you an invite back to the new session with Egg and them. So yeah, I have a new Xbox 22. Whose thing is that? All right. I've never seen that name before. Got it. Well, I'll tell you right now. I did get confirmation from Luke, by the way, on when a season would start. We do have that. That should be announced pretty soon. If this is true about the patch coming June 11th, we will start 2 weeks after that. Therefore, people can learn the new patch and to make sure everyone is fine with the update. So I'd be expecting probably a June 25th. No, that's a Tuesday. June 27th start for tier 3, starting everything off, and then 28th would be tier 2, 29th would be F2 and tier 1. So yeah, we'd start at the end of June and then transfer into the new season then. I'm gonna guess, if I had to say anything about any tier potentially starting earlier, it would be F2, because as George sent me a potential F2 calendar, and I think a confirmed F2 calendar if it's about correct, we would be getting F2 at the very earliest 1 week earlier. I know a lot of people have been talking about, why not do F2 earlier? Why not do this? Well, it's an 11 race calendar for F2. I don't know if that will change anything for the second season of F2, making it less rounds by 2, or making it less rounds by 1. That'll be the interesting thing to look out for. And as well, the tier 1 season will be 20 rounds. The tier 2 and tier 3 seasons will be 10 rounds. So yeah, those are some interesting things that you may not be aware of that you are aware of now. JNT Gaming, your thoughts if the season does start at the end of June, by the looks of things?
Hope the game's good.
I agree.
I hope we get to run.
I agree.
Though, I will, if we do start when you say we're starting, you know those big 10 packs of gum? I just got one. Like, there's like you have like a pack of gum, it's like
I know
extra
what you're
gum.
talking about.
And they got, like, it's like when you buy in bulk. I just got that, so that makes me very happy. Anyway, I'm missing
Very good.
probably one of the first races of the Tier 2 season, because I'm going on vacation. I know it's very sad. I'm going to miss a race. You guys are going to have to go on without me. I know it comes with a very heavy heart to say this. I know y'all were looking forward to me being there every race, and that was just such an integral part of everyone's viewing experience. So I'm sorry, but I will have to leave you for at least one race this season.
Well, you know, my genuine reaction to that, JNT, is probably your profile picture, if I'm going to be honest with you, with a little squishy toy in there.
It's not squishy. Is it squishy?
Okay.
I don't know. It's one of the. It's like a stuffed
You
animal.
could say it is, right?
They can't
Well,
see
yeah,
it,
I
though.
mean, there's a
It's like
plushie,
an
right?
orange octopus, because you guys can't see it, so let me explain it. It's kind of an orange octopus, but like you could flip it, like you could like turn it inside out, and
Make it
then there's like
happy.
a happy pink one.
Make it sad.
And I love it, it's
Yeah.
great.
I've had one of those before. And then I decided I didn't want to be childish anymore, so I just I don't remember where it is.
Oh, stuffed animals are great.
Yeah.
Don't throw shade at
They
stuffed
can be.
animals.
You know, you might need them. You might, anyone might. Men's Mental Health Month, so I want to talk about
Men's
that for a
mental
second.
health month.
It is. So, yeah, I mean, we don't forget about that. You know, a lot of the suicides do take up of men in comparison. I mean, you know, there are females in here in this league, Valkyrie, Montoki. We don't forget about you guys, of course, too. But no, June is Men's Mental Health Month, so you know, you guys aren't forgotten about. And if you always need anyone to talk to, you know, there's a lot of us here at RPL, which is nice to see.
I know you were
A lot of
joking
people in the
about the
server take care of
Ferrari and
each other.
Habs being the same color, but
Yes,
like
yeah.
I'm right up to my TV,
Slight
and I
shade.
can't tell. I think the
It's like
Habs is like
darker.
a little lighter, maybe.
It's like a weird shade. It's hard to tell
The
when you look at the
Ferrari's
track
more
map, but I can see what you mean.
orange, and the Haas is more red. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's just like changing the shade by just a slight edge right there.
I don't know. I think this is the stupidest thing ever. Somebody left. Somebody's not in here. That's a shame.
I think it's Matthew Wrightson. Well, he's clearly not happy in the main chat as we see things. But either way, we're gonna
Understandable.
have a session get underway here, and let's go over where this week's preseason events are, fellas. For all tiers, we got Tier 1's preseason event taking place in Texas. Right now we've got 6 turned up to that. That is probably going to increase in terms of numbers, I would assume, at least a little bit. We'll get a race underway for that. Maybe not a full race. But Tier 2, preseason at Brazil. Tier 3, preseason at Austria on Thursday. And F2's preseason will be in Bahrain. First race for F2 won't be in Bahrain, though, J&T. Other tiers will have Bahrain as the first round from what I've been hearing. But yeah, no formation lap this time, so we should get things underway. J&T, if you're a driver in the start, of course, you're going to either start on mediums or hards. What are you looking forward to here if you're a driver?
I'm looking forward to being in a DRS train for 28 laps and maybe going under the map sometimes. That's always
Oh.
exciting. But honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, I'm just looking forward to having a clean race so I can get some sort of idea of what it's going to be like.
Yeah, that is true. We shall see. No formation lap this time, just to remember that. Either way, we're about to get 5 lights underway here in Abu Dhabi. And we'll get a start here for this social race here. It's our 5th one on the F124 game. Lots to talk about with this game. Got a lot of drivers liking the F2 handling, this F1 handling, which is going to be updated. A lot of drivers seem like they'll like, of course, so we'll find out what ends up happening here in just a few moments' time when the 5 red lights come on. And here they come for the 5 red lights. They're on for the social race in Abu Dhabi, and they're out. Gecko off the line quite well. Hunted is going to be down his inside and at least having a go at him, but it's not going to be much of one as they get single file. They're up to about 5th place. There's a car that went off in the background. I think that was SV right there, but the V car of TSR Cryptic is now going all defensive here for 5th place on JTK, the Academy teammate, as they start to dart out and get side by side behind that 3 wide here into turn 5 at the back of the field. That was a Haas going side by side with Mythic, I believe. That is Egg. But now for our race lead, here comes Hunted on the battery, it looks like, going for it already. Is he going to go to the right or left side? It's going to be the right side. Gecko's not giving an inch, and he's just going to give him a pinch, and now they're side by side for 4th place. Cryptic hanging on. JTK going for it. Mintoki around the outside, sliding sideways and getting through. But now for the lead, Hunted has an opportunity for the 2nd time to go for it.
Hunted to stay behind for now. No, he's gonna freaking bump and run. What a move! Oh no, Gecko's still there on the outside. It stays ahead of Hunted. I thought that was the best thing I've ever seen in my whole career. As Tadpole behind takes out the bollard. What an asshole. As Red Fire's gonna maybe try to go for a move on him too. Nothing there though.
Hunted getting very desperate on lap 1, to say the least. J&T, he looked like he wanted to try the old NASCAR style chrome horn right there and get into the back of him. I don't think he meant to do that, but it has him staying behind Gecko, both on the same tire, whereas Tadpole's on the hards as we complete lap 1. SV looks like he's going to be the only one to head to the pit lane, possibly picking up damage.
Yeah, issues for SV. I didn't quite catch it, but yeah. Very interesting to note that while we were watching the battle for lead, there were about 8 cars going wide off of the little hairpin or chicane or whatever you want to call it. So that was pretty scary.
Either way, we still have a battle brewing between our race leaders. Gecko has it, Hunted wants it, and I don't think Hunted's going to take it this time. They're all going to sit in that DRS train you were talking about. The difference with F1 cars this year, as SV has spun in the pit lane, is that DRS gets enabled on lap 2 this year. So that'll be an interesting change that drivers will have to figure out here as they all jockey it out on this straight here. They either go left, they go right, they kind of try to pick their braking point behind other cars. They don't want to hit the car in front of them as they try to pick their braking point. So that's why you see a lot of drivers ducking out. But everybody seems to stay calm here as the top 12 looks to be in a DRS train onto lap 3.
Red Bull, JTK 7th, Cookie 8th, JTK 2nd, the championship in Tier 2, the Tier 1 champion Cookie. They're sitting way behind where they would usually be running. So if I'm Cookie, I'm freaking terrified. I haven't been back here in like a whole year. I'm like shaking in my boots.
6 places gained, though, for Cookie, so that's a good sight from him. Eggles picks up our first track limit penalty this race. That's not a good thing to pick up. But now we got Mintoki on the back of Cryptic, getting a little desperate here. Cryptic in the slower V-car, Mintoki and the faster Mercedes. We'll find out which driver will come out in front as Cryptic does not pick up DRS. Mintoki does, so this will be an interesting battle, but further up in front of that, meanwhile, Hunted in pursuit of the race leader, cannot go for it. Mintoki, though, is clear and ahead for the place. Hunted diving down the inside, and that was a late lunge. I don't think Gecko expected that. Neither did Hunted. This opens up the door for Tadpole. Can he go for 2 and 1 right here? As Hunted is trying to go after the race leader. Which way do they go? On Gecko, they're both going the long way.
Almost 3 wide. Gecko pushes Hunted a little bit wide as Tadpole almost wastes himself out on Hunted. That was a freaking insane corner. All 3 of the leaders pretty much coming together already on lap 3.
Yeah, but you could just put a blanket underneath them as Red Fire Tiger is now in the mix. He's a second and lower on Gecko in terms of the gap from him to the race lead. Now he was looking for a move on Tadpole, but just couldn't get it done. We got a lot of the Tier 2 drivers battling from 2nd to 5th, and Pac-Man, a debut for him in terms of any event outside of Tier 3. Picking up a track limit penalty, his first of the event. Not good from both Haas drivers, seeming like they can't keep it on the track right now.
Very crucial right now. Extremely, extremely crucial. Cryptic has fallen out of the DRS to the top 5, which is not good for the 2 Red Bulls behind because it is very hard to get in DRS, and it's pretty much the only way you stay with the leaders. So JTK and Cookie, they need to move if they want to catch up to the top 5 as Apps gets a
SV with a penalty.
Apps.
Red Fire using ERS, and I think they all stay in line. Yes, they do, but there was Cryptic getting overtaken by JTK and Blue Goggy getting overtaken by Valkyrie. So both V-Carbs down a place, Pac-Man also up a place. However, meanwhile at the front of the field, I don't think this battle is going to stop anytime soon. The interesting thing, though, is once they get to Sector 3 right here, they all close up. But no one's going for a move right there, as Valkyrie and Blue Goggy are now going wheel to wheel. Valkyrie getting the upper edge right there.
Red Fire tapped Tadpole a little bit in that sweeping, I don't know what direction is it. Yeah, the left-hander. That could have been a freaking airplane crash, but thankfully the game was nice and it let them continue on. But a lot of contact in that one specific corner. Which is surprising.
Valkyrie around.
Oh, what a shame.
She's had an off there at the Latifi corner. While that was happening, Kipu and Pac-Man were duking it out. It was Kipu getting the place right there, and I think Valkyrie may have some damage. You can maybe see it from the rear wing right there as she was sliding there, and her event is already over. She's the first one we've lost. Either way, lap 5 of this event, Gecko still leads, but the DRS goes all the way back to Mintoki right there, and I think JTK may have just got in it. Yes, he did. He slipped his way into DRS right there as they enter turn 5.
Crucial for the rest of this race. He's kind of connected the rest of everyone back there to the top 5. Well, I guess everyone is just the 2 Red Bulls. I've been glazing Red Bull pretty hard already.
Either way,
yeah, they're there now.
The lead. We've got a battle. Hunted looked like he was going to go for it in the braking zone, or maybe slipped up and got a little too close there, but now Tadpole is going to try to take over with the Ferrari 1-2, and he's actually going to take the lead from this around the outside. Is Tadpole going to be able to pull off the move as they go side by side out of the corner? Tadpole is in front of his Ferrari teammate Gecko.
What a move. What a move. That was awesome. Double overtake around the outside in that corner. You don't see that. That was pretty damn cool.
At that same corner, Pac-Man and Kipu are battling once again for the second lap running. It's Kipu this time, getting the overtake, but going a little too deep and using the runoff there, coming back out in front. May have to give up the place to Pac-Man because of using the runoff and staying in front, but he's going to spin. He somehow keeps it straight. I don't know how he saved that one, Kipu.
He's got them quick hands, man. He's wheeling it. He's wheeling it, man. He's a wheel man for a reason. Look at his hands!
It's quite a famous quote somewhere that I remember, but either way, 7/10 now the gap between the 2 race leaders. Gecko may have just closed right up there, I think, as he now is on none battery and still finding a chance to gain on Tadpole as he uses DRS. Behind that, Cookie was getting JTK right there. The two Red Bulls had a little swap there for position, while Hunted is now putting the pressure right in the back of Gecko. And you can see now here's the battery being deployed from Tadpole for this race lead. Gecko having a go, Hunted having a go, but which one's going to come out in front here? Gecko down the inside. Gecko retakes this race lead though.
Something I just noticed on that one particular straight is Hunted tries to go for a move. On Gecko, actually, let me hold my thought, because Redfire Tiger is going down the inside of Hunted, and he is going to make that move stick for third as Mentoki almost freaking loses it. But again, somehow another driver has saved a car that should be in the barriers. That was honestly a great display of driving from both of those Mercedes Academy drivers. Anyway, something I noticed is that Hunted put his battery on maybe a third of a second before Tadpole on that second DRS straight, and he almost passed Tadpole because of it. That is the amount of momentum that he gained. It does make a difference a lot
more this game. That is a fair point to make that you brought up. It does make a little bit more of a difference just turning on your battery for just a split second this game compared to prior F1 games. So I guess in a way that's a nice sight to see. I don't know if that'll be something patched in this upcoming update on June 11th.
I do, it is.
That we're looking at.
They said they're reworking the ERS modes.
There you go.
Specifically hot lap and overtake.
I think we're going to see the Ferraris rework this race lead right here, but they're going to stay in line because I think Tadpole is maybe waiting to the next DRS straight. However, this is going to put Gecko vulnerable to Redfire Tiger waiting this long because Redfire in the braking zone, close right up right there. Egg gets by Bulgogi, and now for our race lead, Tadpole is not close enough. He's conserving battery, staying in line, but Gecko is about 50% worse in the battery. This is not good from our race leader there.
Gecko.
Redfire Tiger.
Almost got moved, not Gecko, sorry. Tadpole almost got moved by Redfire in that same corner that he got tapped by him a few laps ago. Redfire, though, had pretty great pace from him in the Aston. The Aston is not really that amazing of a car, but he's up here, which kind of speaks to his pace, as he is right on Tadpole still. Never mind, he absolutely screwed it, and now Hunt is going to go back by him for third.
And I think Mentoki might have to let Redfire go.
What the?
Wow. Okay, so we've had some lag outs here. Redfire's lagged out. His car didn't retire, but Tadpole's car did as he lagged out. And Cookie is caught right up to these guys. He's up to the top 4 already. While that happened, by the way, J&T, we lost SV2.
That is the saddest thing I've ever seen. We were having such a great race. It was going so well.
It definitely changes the complexion of it because Cookie just went from about 6th place to now trying to take over 3rd place over Mentoki. Our race leader's lagged out too. Gecko's another one who's lagged out. So we've lost 2 Ferrari drivers. Kipu's lagged out.
I feel like we have to restart this one or call it off.
Maybe we are.
I don't even know what we're doing at this point. That was the absolutely saddest thing I've ever seen.
We have 3 drivers who've lagged out right there. We're going to get Redfire and Gecko an invite back. Gecko's rejoined. You might have to get Redfire an invite back, but Cookie takes the lead of this race from being 7th at the start of the lap, it looks like. Wow.
How the hell is Cookie in the lead? What?
Well, that's what I wonder every Tier 1 race that I commentate, and he somehow finds a way again. Josh saying Cookie lag switching.
The game just wants him to win. It wants them to go from last to first. That's all it wants him to do.
Yeah, he did start, what, 15th, I think? 14th, maybe? 14th because of Matthew Wrightson missing. SV leaving the session just a moment ago. He retired in the pit lane. Kipu's car also, while that happened, he's got a DNF to his name because of lagging out too. But Cookie's about to pull the gap for the race lead as he's just spamming his overtakes. Same with Hunted right here, trying to stay in the DRS, while Mentoki playing it very calm, cool, and collected. 51% on that battery. Much more better.
I'm not 100% sure if Gecko's back in his car yet, but he and Redfire are both back in the session, so hopefully they can catch back up so we can get some semblance of a battle, because right now there's... Oh, he lagged out, now he's dead.
And it's happened to a second Ferrari. Gecko is out of the event, and his car is going to be pulled off to the side as he is going to exit this race. That is so unfortunate.
Why is it so
what
bad
has
today?
happened? That just adds to the pain there for them. Bulgogi now has a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting there.
Yeah, I watched him do that.
Yeah.
What do you even say to this? What?
Well,
What am I supposed to say,
I'm
man? We just lost half the
I'm gonna
field.
hope that we get this glitch fixed whenever drivers leave the session or lag out, that it doesn't end up retiring their car. We can only hope and pray that EA do realize this is a big problem. But yeah, not the best of sights though. Of course, it's unfortunate that it's happened, but it's definitely put some interesting storylines to this race in terms of where some of the backmarker cars are. You got the Alpine up in 9th. You got both Haas's up in 8th and 10th. Both Visa Cash App Racing Bulls up in 5th and 7th.
The capitalism cars are doing better than they would usually be, so I guess that's good for that team. As Red Fire, I believe, is retaking control of his car, and he's reeled, well, before this straight, he reeled the top guys in by 4/10. So he still definitely has the pace, as we are getting real tight up here through that
Yeah, we're
chicane.
playing ping pong for the race lead with Cookie, Hunted, and Mentaki just running in the back of each other right there as Cookie tries to figure out the braking zone.
Alright, side by side through this corner again. How is it going to play out? It's going to play out because Cookie keeps clear of Hunted.
All is in Cookie's favor right now with all the logouts happening, and as well the DRS straight kind of helping him there with how long or how short that may be. But 3-car race for this race lead. I've seen this one happen before. And Hunted, oh, he had to correct a slide there at the final corner. That's going to cost him some time, a 10th or 2 right there.
Yeah, a bunch of slides. I think that could also be part, as cryptic is boxing. Actually, this is a scheduled pit stop. That's crazy. So, I think now, with the setups, the way the setups are right now, there's not many available race setups. So, there's a lot of sliding going on in race conditions. And I think maybe after the patch, it'll start to get a little better with that, because setups are going to have to be reworked. So here's hoping to that. But right now, it's just pretty unstable all around during race conditions for these guys.
So, if it's true, by the way, as we get to the race lead once again, I'll mention it in just a second as Hunter goes for a slide. Our 400th F2 race, by the way, will happen in Season 20 at the opening round, by the way, for those of you interested in terms of our statistics. But Cookie is leading. The question is for how much longer. Right now, he'll keep it here into Sector 3 as Cookie does hang on and defends the spot. Hunted having quite the strong pace. Same with Mentaki. Mentaki in a car that really is not great and is going to be probably nerfed to be a bit worse as well once this patch comes in. But I think these two have quite the hope for the brand new Tier 2 season, Hunted and Mentaki. Maybe a few race wins from both of them.
I'd be hopeful if I was them as well. I was very surprised with Mitoki last season, how great her performances were in that Aston Martin, that Mercedes. I think she put in absolute great drives, so I'm very excited to see what she can do. Unfortunately, probably not in as fast of a car as she wants, but still a works team nonetheless, so I'm going to be watching out for that as I am chilling in 10th place every week.
Well, that Kicksauber will be buffed as well. We'll see what happens
Buff,
with
that
the...
thing's going to be nerfed to hell.
That's what I meant, yeah, nerfed, yeah. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. Oh, the Blue Goggy going for a bit of a slide right there. Trying to follow JTK, and he's getting all out of shape. Luckily, he remains in a straight line. But, yeah, I think if you're Mentaki, I think your goal right here is just to get more podiums with Mercedes. It wasn't really the best stint with Mercedes whenever she got moved full time. She had some mistakes happen, but she was able to pull off some quite good finishes, though. She kept up her finishing streak. She got, I believe, a 3rd place starting spot at one of the races as well for the team. Podium, her first podium there. So, yeah, I mean, she wasn't as great as she was in the Mercedes compared to the Aston, but I think this game that'll probably change. The Mercedes will be, what, 4th, 5th fastest? So we'll see what happens for her.
Absolute scenes. Blue Goggy in one of the slowest cars on the grid is staying with a Red Bull. And as I say that, he is formula drifting out of the DRS and JTK. But still, Goggy, absolutely amazing performance. Don't consider the fact that we lost half the field.
And Mentaki is in. Red Fire Tiger staying out right now. for second place. Red Fire Tiger is another one who surprised me as well. I think during the end of the Tier 2 season was when he really started having his worst finishes in either China or Japan. Those were the two races that I don't really think he was able to fully put together. But even before that point, JNT, you were involved in it with the Tier 2 season that he had. No worse than 11th for the first 9 races that he had. And even some of them being in Red Bulls, I can understand that being a disappointment. But considering he was in the V car, but what was the AlphaTauri back then, I would have to say that's quite impressive.
I've seen from him, he's a lot better with, I think, race performance. He's very consistent. Qualifying, he might not always be there, but he's pretty much always there in the race. Every time I've seen, unless he has a stinker sometimes, which he had a couple of. But as a genuine talking point, he's really impressed me in preseason. I think he is going to be a real threat in whatever car he races in. I don't know what car he's in, or he might be in the V car, I'm
Aston.
not sure. Oh, he's going to be in the Aston. Oh, wow.
Yep.
He's going to be maybe a threat because he looks pretty damn fast right now. So, who knows what he
Yeah,
can
he
do?
does,
Who
and
knows what he's going to be able to do?
if that car does change a little bit, I wouldn't be surprised if he's contending for at least 1 or 2 race wins at his best circuits. Pac-Man picks up a penalty, and we just saw moments ago a race leader Cookie pick up a penalty. So, obviously, pick up the penalties now while you can, Cookie, not during the season, because in your documentary, you did get to see how many track limit penalties you picked up over the season. Only 12 seconds, of course, across a 24 race season
me.
that he was partaking in.
Such an
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah, I mean, that is a fair point. You know, yours was, what, half of that season? So, yeah, better percentage you had. Hunted took the fastest lap. Mentaki is right behind Mythic, and we might see a move being made right here in just a moment. I think Mythic is going to defend this just a little bit longer for the Academy teammate, and he does. He just parks the bus right there out of turn 5. Now going to defend the right side here. Therefore, once we get to the chicane, he'll have the corner exit speed when we get there, but Mentaki is going to be ahead as we get there.
No battery defend, although he's going to send one down the inside. That was maybe even closer than Sergio Perez almost logging up into Max Verstappen in Miami. I have no idea how in any realm of reality that they did not just have a massive coming together, but they didn't.
Hold
and
on.
Mitoki lives
Hunted
on.
and Gagi collide! Hunted's got a
Oh.
penalty, and he's definitely got rear brake damage now. Hunted tried going for it on Blue Goggy, and that ended an absolute disaster for our net race leader.
Well, now the Mintoki and Mythic thing didn't end up in a coming together, but that one sure freaking did. Damn. It's all kicking off on lap 14 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Make it lap 15 now, JNT. We're about to be past halfway in this race, and I will have to say, I've got quite high hopes for the circuit when it does return to the RPL calendar, because although it's a DRS train, it's definitely one that will be maybe mind games, even if they do patch the ERS system, as Hunted went for a massive tank slapper right there. If there is, oh, Pac-Man is out in the pit lane. If there is an ERS change,
Oh, we got some incidents. Mythic and I think, yeah, who's Cryptic,
Cryptic
and Mythic just touched each other inappropriately. There's damage. There is hurt feelings. I'm sure there's going to be some choice words in the conversations they're having with someone else happening.
Number 2.
Here we go.
At this, Hunted around the outside, this time at Blue Goggy, right before the corner they collided in. Hunted, I think probably battling some rear wing damage right there, is finally through. Yeah, I just saw Mythic reset the track as he spun out there at the end of that. I will say, J&T, this circuit I do have hope for, because even if the ERS system gets a little bit of a change, it's going to be absolute mind games with the battery when you're in a DRS train, even if you're the second or third car, maybe even the last car, and you really got to pick your point of when you want to go through.
To be fair, that sweeping left-hander and the chicane out of the 2 DRS straights, there's been some absolute great entertainment from that. So, I think this race could be pretty okay, as there's a bunch of time penalties. I don't know where that's coming from.
Mythic is shoving Egg off, and this is a little
Touch.
ridiculous from Mythic, trying to push Egg right into the wall right there. I don't know what Mythic is defending for. I've seen some great pace so far from Mythic on this game, but definitely the racecraft does not change from Mythic as Egg finally gets through on him.
Nah, I'm just giving him a little squeeze, saying hello.
That's one way to do it.
Oh god, he's gonna be yelled at after the race. Anyway, Mintoki on Hunted. Hunted does still have his rear wing damage. Mintoki in the DRS, down the second DRS straight. She's turned the battery off though, so she's not gonna go for it this straight. As Hunted has an absolutely amazing drift over the curb, which because this game is this game, the curbs don't really do anything. So he completes the drift, he stays ahead. Hunted doing absolute bits as Red Fire gets a penalty. Very unfortunate for
Both
him.
leaders are in too. That's another thing to note, J&T. This will be important to see where Hunted comes out in comparison to these, Cookie and Redfire comes out in comparison to Hunted and these guys. I was just going to say, although Hunt has been battling rear wing damage and Mintoki is now going for the move, I don't doubt that Cookie and Redfire will be too far apart from Hunted here, even if they get overtaken, which they have been.
This is going to be a sight. Hunted with rear wing damage after he's crashed is still going to be ahead of the two drivers who just pit. That is pretty impressive.
Massive wiggle.
Side by side.
Massive wiggle. Massive slide. Hunted is almost around and has been passed for the net race lead. Mintoki has it, but Mintoki is the one to have DRS, not Hunted, so Hunted is going to have to burn the battery, and while Hunted does that, Mintoki hangs on.
Hunted's going to wait for the second straight, as you typically do here. Can he stay close, though? Can he get a good exit with his damage? Well, I guess his damage helps with his straight line speed, so it's not really going to matter. Or it might matter. Very far back. But I think with the DRS strength in his rear wing, now it's not enough by the end of the straight. He's going to end up having to stay behind Mintoki.
The only thing that's going to help Hunted, I think, here is staying in Mintoki's DRS right here with the rear wing damage that he's facing. You could just see how he's just having to let off in some corners and be careful. These slides that he's having it so constantly. Blue Goggy, Mythic both get 10-second corner cutting penalties right here.
I think they both
as they try to battle it out here for position. This is probably going to get ugly, I'm going to assume. Mythic trying to go for the overtake down the inside of Blue Goggy, and he just shunts right into the side of him.
Preseason, baby, let's go. Let's go.
JTK is in, and he'll go for a set of medium tires. Mediums for Cookie, mediums for JTK. JNT, what do you expect from these two Red Bulls as they try to propel their way through the field?
I think Cookie is very soon, maybe probably by the next lap, will get in this DRS and battle these two leaders. Well, I guess one leader because it's Hunted. Mintoki still has to... Does she have to stop? No, she doesn't have to stop. So yeah, these two leaders out here, Cookie's going to have to fight through them if he can. Controller's not really the best on this game, so it might be a bit of a chore, bit of a task for him. JTK, his hope is that he can drive up to Cryptic, which might be a bit difficult as he's multiple seconds behind him. But I think there is hope for that. We might see that by the end of the race.
Absolutely pains me. We saw both Ferraris leg up from 1-2, and now we got Cookie going up to P2 on Hunted LAX right there, trading some positions.
The fact that Hunted
really battling this rear wing damage coming into effect.
He's alive still. This is awesome.
That's the good part. Red Fire Tiger also in the mix too, on different tires though. He's just maybe a few tenths away from DRS. Cookie sets the fastest lap right behind Mintoki. And let's see what happens here, as we're going to have DRS down to turn 6. I'm going to assume yellow flag. That is for Mythic around, and he's picked up some carbon fiber off his car with it. He's actually got a puncture. That's why he stayed out in 17-lap mediums. He's got a rear puncture. So that is what has happened to the one-time F2 winner. But Red Fire has activated DRS here right behind Hunted. Hunted, I think, weaving, saying, look, I've got rear wing damage. I think I'm going to have to let you go here.
This is going to help Red Fire a little bit, because the DRS will pull him up to the cars ahead just a little bit if he doesn't get held up here from Hunted absolutely drifting through every corner. I don't think Hunted's going to fight this too hard. This is going to help Red Fire once he gets by him. He's on the overtake button, goes by Hunted, and now the gap between him and the next car, which is Cookie, is about 3 seconds.
Well, let's find out what happens between Mentaki and Cookie. Two drivers who have got to know each other quite a bit more recent, to say the least. Both drivers in their 20s, quite the older RPL drivers on this grid, so not really a youth versus experience kind of thing, only in terms of their, I guess, longevity in RPL, as Mentaki's been here since the end of Season 12 Tier 2, and Hunt has picked up another time penalty. Sorry, the end of Season 11 Tier 2, while Cookie's been here since Season 7 F1, which was
a while ago.
The start of F1 22 for Tier 2, so what, Season 5, Season 6-ish? But
Season 7 already.
Of Tier 2, that would be. When Cookie was there.
Okay.
And heartbreak for Hunted more. Spinning out. We saw he picked up a penalty just moments ago, and it's gone from bad to worse for the Welshman. But now for our race lead, is Cookie gonna duck out? Nope.
Oh my goodness.
Stay behind.
Mintoki, I think, is backing Cookie up into Red Fire Tiger. The absolute scenes right now. This might get spicy if she keeps doing this.
Well, does she defend with any battery? Not going to use any. Almost close to the inside wall right there. Cookie threw into the race lead, but Red Fire, you mentioned maybe being backed up into 2.2 right there. And Mythic is still going around this circuit with a puncture, not choosing to pit. I don't know why. Cryptic has been overtaken by Hunted for 4th place right there. Cryptic doesn't have a penalty. Hunted does, but Mintaki staying just barely in DRS right there. Now turning on the battery to try and get closer. And Hunted is reversing right there as he's been going the wrong way. Kind of doing the Kyle Busch route here.
Gap between the two leaders, 9.5 tenths. The dream for Mintoki might be over as Cookie is almost going off in the sunset. As I say that, makes a bit of a mistake on the exit. Mintoki's going to be maybe on the battery here to try and stay in it. No, unfortunately. Wait, where's the line? Did she get in the DRS?
Maybe just barely, maybe out of it just barely. Oh, she wiggles!
Maybe no.
And she is out of DRS.
Well, this could still help Red Fire a bit, as this pace seems pretty equal to Cookie, I'd say. So maybe Mintoki giving him DRS could maybe bring him up to Cookie as he drifts into the chicane. He drifts through the chicane. That is absolutely incredible to watch.
Well, yellow flags. You can see where Hunted's car is on the right side as he's doing donuts, but Cryptic and JTK, two Academy cars, are going at it. JTK is ahead and through, but Cryptic is ghosted inside of JTK, so he's going to have to go the long way, maybe.
Smart man.
Unless he can get the inside once he unghosts right here. We'll find out. JTK is ahead for now, but Cryptic sends it a little late to try on unghost, but doesn't get the advantage from it. JTK is through up into 4th place. Meanwhile, Mintaki has continued to stay out of DRS in the race leader, while Red Fire has picked up DRS for 2nd place on track. Mintaki has the net race lead, but doesn't have it on track.
I'd say this is best case scenario for Red Fire. Mintoki's still close enough to Cookie where DRS might still propel Red Fire to Cookie, and she's not being dragged along by Cookie, so the overtake can be done pretty easily. So this is pretty much best case scenario for Red Fire once he does get by.
Well, as for Cookie's sake, you got a 1.5 gap, and as for Red Fire's sake, you have a lot of pace. Do you use it and try to go challenge to maybe make it a 1-2 for your cars in that exact order? We'll find out. Red Fire is through and ahead, but Cookie right here, I believe, behind a lap car. Is that correct? Yes, but does not get the DRS. Red Fire does on Cookie. This shall be interesting here as we get to Sector 3. That is the Alpine of Mythic getting out of the way, but Red Fire is in DRS still.
That's what I told you was going to happen, and it friggin' did. Cookie made a bit of a mistake into the chicane out of that first DRS straight, and look what happened. Red Fire right here.
And we've got a race on our hands, to say the least, JNT. Red Fire is right on the back of Cookie, wanting to intercept this place. Blue Goggy gets a time penalty. With that being said, we have 3 drivers who don't have a time penalty. JTK and Mintoki are the 2. Haunted's around again.
He's just having fun. He's doing burnouts in every corner. He's saying hello to the fans, thanking all the fans.
From it. Well, we'll have DRS down to turn 6, but does Cookie let Red Fire go before then? No. Red Fire maybe saw that as a possibility right there, so he backed off and actually got Mintoki back into DRS. But with that happening, overtake on hands for Red Fire for just a split second. They're both on medium, Cookie and Red Fire are, so it's just a chicken game now of DRS. Who's gonna be in front here as they get to the chicane? Red Fire down the inside, tucks back in.
You lied, Ryan. Red Fire's on hard. You can't be saying that, man. As he goes for the lead.
Once again,
here we go.
Red Fire around the outside. Cookie on the inside. Cookie protecting. Red Fire attacking. And Red Fire with the attack is going to go the long way around and take over. Right now, if the penalties get applied, it is a 1-2 for Mercedes with their Academy cars.
I wonder what Hunted's doing. I wonder what Hunted's game plan is.
Okay. Letting them go. We got Egg and Bulgogi. How about this? Bulgogi on the back of Egg. We'll find out if Egg can continue to protect this place and defend for his life. Bulgogi using all that battery. He's got below 10% left. Bulgogi going to have a go around the outside. Can he get by? Can he get by? No, he's going to try the cutback here. I don't think that's going to work too well unless Egg makes a mishap, but he doesn't.
What I'm seeing right now, Red Fire is trying to absolutely bolt away from Cookie. And it almost worked. He got the gap up to 0.8 before the DRS straight. These two drivers, I'd say, pretty equal on battery right now. Red Fire definitely, I think, has the pace advantage at this stage.
Well, we'll find out.
That was close.
0.3 the gap. We've just had a driver lead the league. FG Pac-Man. Hunted is now out.
Fun.
That is in the pit lane. Bulgogi still close to Egg, but nothing making of it there as we have the race lead still in hands, JNT. 0.3 the gap. There's 11 of you watching. It may not be the regular preseason races, but you guys are trying to have a blast here before the preseason events this weekend on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to see what we'll see from these drivers. Red Fire, a Tier 2 driver, former Tier 1 driver and podium sitter. Cookie, a Tier 1 champion. And Mintoki, a future Tier 2 winner, I think, in my eyes, as Bulgogi gets Egg.
They're still side by side, though. Egg's going to get the DRS on the second straight. These two just having an absolutely lovely battle as Egg is very much clear of Bulgogi going down. I want to know what corner number this is. I'm just going to say it's turn 10. I feel like it's turn 10. It might be turn 10.
It is turn 9 right there.
Turn 9? That was close. That was close.
I think it used to be turn 10 when they had a chicane right up here where they have it. Maybe it was,
yeah,
maybe it was turn 11?
Yeah, it was the hard break-ins in a turn 10 because it was that little chicane. Because they had one more turn than they usually do.
They had a little too many chicanes in this track prior, but I think the good thing, though, is Cookie is going to dive it way late. Oh, Red Fire had to go out and avoid him, and I think Cookie went a little left and then backed off and gave him the race lead, conceded that as he looked to maybe apologize for running right into the side of him, but now I think 2 for 1 right here. Red Fire Tiger might be overtaken by 2 of them, but I think Mintoki won't go for it. Cookie re-inherits the top spot.
I don't think Cookie meant to do that. On a controller. Oh, no, hold on. Hold that thought. Because Red Fire's trying to go around the outside of Cookie. He's right on Cookie. He's trying to look for anywhere. He moves him. Oh,
I don't even think he touched him right there. I think the air got in between him, JNT, and now he did touch him in the second part. But around the outside, battling into the final corner, Cookie protects. Red Fire with the switchback. This is incredible, cracking racing.
I can't believe it. With a 3-car race, we're still getting some absolutely amazing action here in the RPL Abu Dhabi preseason race. As they're still...
3-car race,
Cookie's
JNT.
gone wide. He's going to try and maybe let Red Fire by before the DRS straight. Red Fire, I don't think he falls for it. Mintoki almost gets absolutely destroyed from that. Let's see who gets the DRS. It's Red Fire with the DRS. Cookie's plan absolutely bit him in the ass with this one.
Mintoki, maybe you would say the man with the plan, but the woman with the plan right here, having the DRS while Cookie didn't, and Cookie tried to outbrake himself right there, going a little way too deep. And we've got 2 3-car battles here as we're about to approach the final laps of this race. Both V-cars versus a Haas, and both Mercedes Academy cars versus the Red Bull of Cookie.
That was the most exciting racing I've ever seen. That was
We
absolutely
might get some
beautiful.
more here with Cryptic, Egg, and Blue Goggy. Cryptic, a Tier 2 champion, Egg, an F2 champion, and Goggy seems to master the Asian tracks here with all 4 podiums coming in that side of the world. But right now, Cryptic, his teammate, is going to have Egg pressurizing him, going through, and Egg then lets him go for the DRS. Cookie with a crucial 3-second time penalty, though. That's going to add on to his race in 3 laps time.
Yeah, it's killed any chance of Cookie getting anything out of this one. It's going to be third for the Red Bull driver. As who is that? That's Cryptic absolutely shoving Egg into the inside wall. Have you ever seen anything like that be done by a driver?
Well, it's going to go again.
Holy...
It's going to go again. He's going to muscle his way past there. I think Egg wanted to let him by, and he's now playing a chicken game here with Cryptic in terms of the DRS. Speaking of DRS, Cookie's out of it. Mentoki has it, though, on Cookie.
This might be... Oh, this is going to get spicy because Red Fire is out of the DRS. He might be able to maybe pull a 3-second gap on Mentoki. This race is actually not over.
Well, Cryptic backing up Egg into Blue Goggy for more uncomfort right there. So they're going to go side by side at turn 2. A little bit of contact there for just a moment in time. And Mentoki is through up into second place. Cookie going to go back down the inside and going to challenge it. Almost making contact. They do get RG Bargy. Mentoki onto the curb, but having the inside line for the next corner. She is finally through. And yellow flags that is up in front of the race leader. That's Red Fire. But now Cryptic and Egg back at it. 2 wide. Make it 3 wide in just a moment.
No, Goggy's actually using some of his racecraft to stay behind and let those two fight out because they are making huge contact into that chicane. They actually keep it cleaner than I thought as Goggy gets the best exit out of all 3 of them, trying to go for the double overtake here. Now it's 3 wide going into turn 9 as Cryptic keeps those 2 places.
Egg got sandwiched right there, and he's now the one in the middle of the V-Carbs. Cryptic in front, then Egg, then Blue Goggy, who takes the escape road, comes back on, joins this race behind, and Egg is still pushing Cryptic along as Cryptic. I just don't think he has enough pace right here in the 16-lap hards. He's going a long way, and we're about to reach the final lap next time by. Red Fire's been able to pull a 3-second gap over Cookie at least, but Mentoki will now become the question here because that's for the race victory here in terms of when the penalties get applied. Cookie, 10-second time penalty.
Cookie through. Cookie may have thrown for Red Fire because
I think he's even thrown it for JTK's sake because JTK will get the podium now, JNT.
Well, oh yeah, he will. JTK, 17 seconds.
Oh, backing off. DRS tactics right here. Cryptic in front of Blue Goggy, but was it by the detection point now? Side by side between both V-Carbs, Blue Goggy was the one left without DRS, and now it's Goggy versus Cryptic versus Egg. 3 wide for just a moment. Time. Egg getting squeezed under the white line and almost a collision.
Red Fire boxes.
3 wide.
That's interesting.
Red Fire did pit. I don't know if he could have made it to the end or not, but final lap. Final lap in this race, in the social race, the 5th one of this game, and now it's about to get spicy. Blue Goggy and Cryptic. Whoa!
Goggy almost chops off the nose of his teammate going down in the turn 9. They're still side by side. Coming out of it, contact between the 2 teammates.
Whoa!
Absolutely leaning on each other, using them. Goggy tries to go back down the inside of his teammate, but he can't make the move stick. Just ping pong out here with Formula 1 cars. Oh my god.
Well, we've got a race on our hands for the race lead on track, but it will be Mentoki as things set on penalties right now. Cookie versus Mentoki. America versus Korea. Mentoki has it. Cookie's going to go for it on track, though. But the 10-second time penalty and the others with it will be applied. So right now, it's still Mentoki's race, and it's a 3-car gaggle for 5th place still. Red Fire, I think he realized what his game was at. He's going to go for the fastest lap and 3rd place on track, but he just can't get it. JTK's defending. Sliding sideways, Red Fire going through. But right now, Cookie, the Season 10 F1 champion, will win this social race on track by the looks of things. But for the first time ever, Mentoki can say, even though it's a social race, she's an RPL winner.
The gap between Cookie and JTK, will it go over 16 seconds? I don't know what the gap is right now between them, but it's going to be freaking close as we come to the line.
Hey,
JTK
JTK
moves
got
up
it.
in a second.
Oh, Cryptic and Egg! Oh, bouncing off of each other. Cryptic through. Egg has to concede, but still won't. He's around the outside. They both slide. They both make contact, but Egg is through.
For now, how hard will Cryptic send it into this last sector? Oh my god, this is some absolutely diabolical racing here in Abu Dhabi. One final chance for Cryptic to get Egg down to the inside,
Oh!
and it's been an absolutely massive miscalculation from the RB. He's thrown the blue Goggy. Egg takes fifth, Goggy takes this, and TSR Cryptic gets 7 on track, but he actually beats Goggy because of penalties. What an absolutely amazing finish. 100%.
That was absolutely chaotic, but for the first time in RPL, although a social race, doesn't count for any points, not a single tier, Mentaki ends up taking the victory. 17 laps done on those hards. TSR Cryptic did about 19 of them. And Mythic, by the way, who, I mean, I don't even think he pitted after his puncture. He's
No,
coming
he did
across the line
not.
on 25 lap mediums.
After going the whole race on his set of medium tires, El Mythic
Got 2
crosses the
punctures.
line in 8th.
He finished the race with 2 wheels. Both on the left side.
He finished with 2 wheels, 23 seconds of penalties, done the whole race on his tires. There's not even a driver of the day. There is no driver of the day. That is how bad this race was according to the game. It did not even give the opportunity for any of these guys to get it.
Well, if I had to give one, I would definitely say Mentaki. And rightfully so. Look at this. She's on the top step for the first time. And throws the trophy in the air.
I'm very confused.
Doesn't throw
Why
it
is
like Lewis
Cookie
Hamilton,
instead
though.
of-
They spray the champagne. We'll give you your final results right now. Here you go on our screen. Fastest lap went to Cookie, although he finished down in 7th. He actually finished up in 3rd place, but he left the session early, so hopefully that's a glitch that does get fixed. That's another thing, leaving the session early or leaving the session as a whole, it retires your car. I'm really hoping that gets fixed before the season. Egg's a big shout out. He started 11th and ended up 4th. I know he only had 8 drivers finish this race, but I mean, it's only a preseason race for crying out loud and a social race, so not these guys taking it 100% seriously is something we have on our cards, but at the same time, Mentaki, JTK, Cookie, the top 3. Red Fire up there, Egg up there, Cryptic having some nice battles. Blue Goggy kept it clean for the most part, a little bit cleaner than the majority of the weekend, but we lost about over half the field. And if I could tell you one thing that I'm expecting for the season, JNT, is that I think the contact can be inconsistent. I think there's certain times where just a small bit of contact does send a driver around, as we saw in Tier 2 in the preseason race there. But you saw the midfield battle with 5th, 6th, 7th, and even the battle for the race lead. I think you can get a lot away with a lot more contact depending on where it's at on the car in these battles.
That might make some of these battles very chaotic because some contact, it'll just bump them a little bit. The other contact, it'll send them flying through the air. You have no idea what you're going to get. And honestly, that might be a good thing. That might be pretty freaking cool.
Well, we've got the Tier 3 preseason race on Thursday. We have a video coming out tomorrow kind of explaining Tier 3 and why it's being created, the other
All right,
cool
let me
things about
summarize
it.
the video. It's the 3rd tier. All right, you can click off now.
That's not all of it, but that's a fair point. We do have a lot more explaining.
There's probably
that
more
eggs.
to it, yes.
Yeah. Well, we do have Eggs League being kind of a merger with RPL now. So you saw guys like Rapid Owen, of course, join. He joined before it ended up merging. We had Samuel Drake Lee join. We've had others join throughout. People who were in Eggs League. So that is another thing that will be mentioned tomorrow on that video, 4 minutes long. But after that will be the Tier 3 preseason race in Austria. We've got Tier 2's preseason in Brazil on Friday. And then Saturday, we'll have F2 and F1 covering the action once again. JNT, any closing thoughts from this one? That was quite crazy.
I hope I don't have to race in something anywhere close to what we had today. I hope I don't have to do this because
Yeah.
this will be an absolute nightmare if this happens in any points races. Let me freaking tell you. The stewards
I mean,
room, it's like freaking, it would be hell in there. The chats would have to be shut down. The league would have to go on lockdown. I don't even know what would happen if this happened in an actual race. It'd be freaking the scenes.
well, one shout out before we end things. Red Fire Tiger, bravo, standing on business there. You said you were fast this game, and you definitely gave it your all this one and proved it. You didn't prove it too much in the Tier 2 and Tier 1 events of preseason, but this one, it's fair to say you definitely did. Either way, we gave you when the next events are. Make sure you tune into our socials as well to see other bits and pieces come out there of what to expect, a potential calendar as well. Expect that to come later this month. But anyways, Ryan Searles, J&T Gaming, your two commentators, signing off for the night. We will see you next time and later on this weekend. Goodbye.